And it's even happened recently where, as we've gone on our weight loss journeys, I got down really low, like below what I ever thought I could in weight wise. And,
right.
And my body was looking on point, and I fell into the worst depression of my life. Fucking miserable. Like I had to hit that second surrender in sobriety because I thought that having a certain body type was going to make me happy.
Right.
And so this battle continues, as I navigate and learn how to do this stuff, but experimentation with it and being honest with myself is really, really the catalyst for it. Right. Because there's still like today, there's a lot of things that I do that are not fucking socially acceptable, especially within my family. The way we feed our kids.
Right.
A lot of people are like, you're fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. You're crazy.
Which is weird.
It's weird that trying to find a healthier path isn't always accepted,
Yeah.
And getting to be fair, my friends, when I got sober, were kind of the same way.
I was just going to say, like, it all depends on who we surround ourselves with at the time. Like, because if you had a different family that was a little bit more health conscious, then that wouldn't be weird, right? It wouldn't be. It would be more socially acceptable.
Yeah.
I had certain friends that, were like, "Fuck, I guess you want to get sober," like I guess, or like my mom specifically, when I quit that job, was just like, "You're crazy."
That's who I was thinking of.
You're crazy.
Yeah, because she was worried.
Like, because she was worried. Yeah. And so I think that it is fascinating to me though that we tend to think that as long as those around us are validating us, as long as they think we're okay, we're okay.
Yeah.
And boy, that's just not the case.
Yeah. And as we come around to this stuff, I think, and we've talked about this a lot of times on the show, that vision for you is so important once you get sober. I want to be fairly clear about this in my belief that anytime you poison your body to fix it is a bad idea. Right? There's those normal people that can have a drink,
right,
and it doesn't affect them the way that it affects me.
Yeah,
right.
It's not the same.
But I think that drug and alcohol addiction is something that the first thing that you need to do in order to have a better quality of life is stop using and drinking. Mm-hmm. It's hard at first, right? Going through the withdrawals, and Dylan's going to tell you a little bit about his struggle with the withdrawals and how bad it was for him, but we've all gone through it. Every one of us that are on this side of the table now that are sober, whether it's 24 hours or 24 years, had to go through that initial start, getting sober. And as we go through sobriety and we get sober and we start finding out the things that don't work for us, it's important, I think, to put pen to paper and decide who you are and look at that and see if it's even true, right? Like, when we do a vision for you, and it's funny that this is coming up, but when we do our own vision for ourselves, we write out a definition of who the highest version of ourselves would be. And a lot of those things are on there.
Yeah.
Who am I in my health journey? Who am I as a parent? Or who do I see my highest version being? Who am I as far as my home, my career, my friendships, all those things. We put that on paper, and then we can look at it and we have something to compare our current life to what we think that should look like. And then we navigate how to get there, right? Because life's not always going to be fucking sunshine and rainbows, but it definitely doesn't have to be fear and misery all the time.
No, I mean, there, especially on this side of the table, like one of the things that I've always, I come back to is like, I didn't sober up to just still be miserable.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Like if I'm going to be sober, I better be fucking happy too.
Yeah. Like our friend Johnny always says,
right.
If you don't get happy being sober, you're probably not going to be sober.
Right. Yeah. Or you might be doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Most, and I'm with you, man. I don't want to live a life of gloom and dread.
I did that. That's the thing is I've already done that.
Trying to be socially acceptable.
Right. Exactly.
Like, remember trying to drink socially so that you would be accepted and fucking, okay, I'll go out with you guys, but I'm only going to have one drink because I got to work tomorrow. And like, we're fucking absolutely convinced. And we go, and the first 2 drinks, we kind of drink like a gentleman. And then, fuck you. I no longer care about social acceptability. And then we're that guy that everybody's taking care of or avoiding or whatever. And then we don't get called back. Like, but that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to wear the mask of social acceptability. Okay.
Yeah.
And now a lot of times what I see happen, and the dangerous part of it, is that people will have nothing and they'll get sober. And the blessings of sobriety will be so abundant that they think that equals recovery. Right. And so for me, I have to recognize that the biggest blessing and the greatest gift that I have in my life is that the obsession to use and drink has been lifted from me. It's something that I cannot buy. You couldn't buy this from me. You could come at me with $1 billion and say, "Can I buy your sobriety? Can I buy your freedom from alcohol, from the obsession to drink?" And there's no way that I could sell that to you because it's mine.
Yeah.
You know, so it's priceless. And everything from there is gravy, right? But I've been on that side where I thought certain things would be acceptable as recovery, where like, you know, my service position, you know, people seeing me in a certain service position, that's acceptable. It's social. Now I'm not working the steps. You know, I'm not working with my sponsor, or I'm putting everything into my career.
Right.
You know,
right.
And now I have 2 vans and a car and a truck and a business. And those are all blessings of me getting sober. Right. But those things are not recovery.
Yeah, that's not right. Yeah.
You know, even though those are appreciated, people love that I'm there. For me, you know, the recovery comes from me treating my alcoholism as if it's a disease. And if I don't do that, then I end up in that place where I was at not too long ago of depression, fear, anxiety without taking a drink. And that feeling is what I wanted to get sober for.
Right.
Because I felt that way. And so the blessings can come really quick, and we can get tricked into thinking that that's what recovery is, are the things that we have in our lives.
Yeah.
You know, and they're great. Don't get me wrong. Those things are great. I don't think sobriety was meant for us to not have those things. Those things come along, but recovery for me is a self-love and spirituality where I'm able to connect with the innermost self and be okay with who I am in this moment through the work that I was able to do. The obsession to use and drink has been lifted, which is gift number 1. The ability to live a sane life and be responsible is gift number 2. Coming to believe that I didn't do it on my own is definitely a gift, right? For me, that's a huge gift. You know, I know a lot of people come in without it. And then being able to clean my house of all the resentments and fear and harming of other people, whether it be sexually or non-sexually, like being able to have the courage to put that on paper, for me, that's recovery, you know? And as I do those things and I become the highest version of myself, when I go into step 5 and I talk about the nature of my wrongs, the selfishness and how I get confused with what's acceptable and what's going to make me okay. And I can look at that and I can discuss it with another person. I can, discuss it with a power greater than myself and admit those things, and then move into letting those things go through 6 and 7, put the people I've harmed on a list, go out and make amends, learn how to pray and meditate, continue to take personal inventory, and then share this stuff with other people. For me, that's recovery. And everything else outside of that is gravy.
Yeah.